I've lost enough of my years of my life to this to feeling like I need to be fixed and corrected and like I need to be enough. We are all enough, and we have so much that we can contribute to this world, and our time is being used where it doesn't belong, which is in becoming this fantasy teenage sex doll version of Angelina Jolie. It's a very aggressive movement against us. Advertising, media, the shaming, the fear-mongering. Like, I have enough things to be afraid of. Like, I'm afraid of rape. I don't want to be afraid of an armpit vagina, which is the line of skin that's in your armpit. I'm afraid of not being given equal opportunities because I'm a woman of colour. I'm afraid of so many other things. I'm afraid of just being murdered for being a woman. Like, I don't want to worry about stretch marks or cellulite or time or gravity showing on my face and my body. These things are deliberately there to go full tin hat on you. They are here to distract us, to give us something else to think about so that we're not thinking about growing our businesses and our families and our lives and our hearts and our minds. In the 90s, when I was coming up, I had to buy the $4 magazine to go and find the images. Or I had to search through almost like the dark web to find the inspiration anorexic websites. Whereas nowadays, it's just everywhere. It's coming to you whether you want it or not. They know your age on Facebook. The algorithm sends it your way. And to adults who say, stop being so sensitive, people don't get influenced by adverts, I'm not talking to you. I'm not fighting for you. I'm fighting for the young people who are not as old as us, who aren't able to identify this stuff. Even some adults, even I don't always identify it. I am here to try and save the next generation from everything that I went through so they don't miss their lives the way that I have. Now that I'm slimmer, people are listening to the same thing I've been saying for 6 years. And that is the biggest problem with the fact that we don't listen to the body positive activists, because when you are bigger, you speak out about it, they say you're too jealous and bitter to speak out about it. And then if you're slim and you speak out about it, then they're saying you're too pretty or you're too thin to talk about it. So then who the gets to talk about it? What a genius way to silence all of us. Look at Me Too, look at Time's Up. Look how many of our friends finally opened up about old abuses that they had gone through, abuse that they are currently going through. There's so much that we have to talk about. Again, I feel like we are being divided and conquered and made to envy each other and made to hate ourselves, just distracted. How are we ever going to be equal? How are we ever going to be the same as men and have the same power as men and the same respect as men if we don't respect ourselves? We're never taught to be grateful, because if we're grateful, then we'll become content. And if we become content, we won't need to consume. If you're selling a product that people want, that's fine. If you need to shame someone into thinking they need to buy your product, this is and you are selling the wrong product and you are the wrong advertising agency. We have a responsibility. People look up to us. If you accept money to promote a product, and therefore you are telling someone that if you want to be like me, if you want to dress like me, if you want to drink what I drink, then you are telling them to be like you, to emulate you. You have a responsibility to the consumer to make sure that you're not selling them a toxic substance or a toxic rhetoric. If you're on Instagram and if you've got thousands of followers and those followers are young and you have a platform, use it responsibly. Or just go to hell where you belong. I set up this company called iweigh, and it started with an Instagram account. It's @I_WEIGH. Our community are full of people who are activists, and they bring it to our attention when they find something toxic online. And I go after them. And I'm right. And that's why I win, because I'm on the right side here. And I think we're all really waking up. I think we've been in this haze, and like men own the corporations and men own the magazines. Even if a woman's the editor, she's answering to a man at the top. Men own loads of the huge brands that we're being shamed into buying. So it's just like we're just being attacked by dicks, just all the time. Honestly, it's so true that divided, we are conquered. And together we can really make change and really make history. And we've really seen that because of the movements that have been so incredible online. And so please join me, and please join all of the amazing activists out there who are doing such great work. Don't turn a blind eye to people who don't have the same experience of you. That is something that I have done. My feminism was not always intersectional enough. And I realized that just because I wasn't part of oppressing other people and people from different marginalised groups. You know, I'm from a marginalised group, but there are so many others out there. Don't turn a blind eye to one another. Make sure that you are fighting with and for one another, because until we are all free, none of us are free. So thanks for having me.